Putin, Russia hates Russia, Putin, Russia, Moscow, Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russians.
So the Mueller report dropped, and as everybody knows, there's no Russian collusion. Anybody with an IQ over 50 knew that this was going to be the outcome of this report. And that's not what I want to touch on, because literally everybody else is covering this. What I want to discuss is the mainstream media. For the last 3 years, they have told us that Donald Trump was guilty. He was guilty of Russian collusion.
From the Media Research Center shows that broadcast networks ABC, CBS, and NBC all devoted a significant amount of time towards their coverage of the Trump-Russia probe, while virtually ignoring important agenda items like health care, infrastructure, and tax reform.
The thing about this is the mainstream media did nothing but accuse Trump for the last 3 years. And then when somebody would tell them, you are biased, you're not being journalists, they would freak out.
Right. So I'm sitting here very quietly listening to all this BS, quite frankly.
You cannot say, you cannot attack, do not attack the stellar reporters of CNN who have their sources and would protect their
reporters of CNN.
So in other words, there will be another indictment and you'll think there'll be Americans involved.
I wouldn't be surprised if, for example, this week on Friday, not knowing anything about it, but Friday is the day that the grand jury indictments come down. So the investigation right now, but I do think also if anybody from the Trump family, an extended family, is going to be indicted, it would be in the final act of Mueller's investigation.
You know, let's be specific. This is really good news for a lot of people around Donald Trump.
But the thing is all you have to see is how they are acting now. The way that they are acting after after the Mueller report just came out, and the fact that they are taking every bit of airtime that they can to cry and not understand how. It's like the elections 2016 all over again. But if you are still on the fence, the Democrats own the mainstream media. The mainstream media is completely biased. That bias is so plain to see, because if they were truly impartial and they were truly unbiased about this story, then they would not be saying and crying and doing the things that they are doing now.
Ken, my biggest question, and I'm going to have this along until somebody answers it. How can the president be pointed to as leading collusion with Russia, of aiding a Russian conspiracy to interfere with our elections, if none of his henchmen, none of his children, none of his associates have been indicted?